Here's how you can learn any language as a lazy introvert. In school, I never liked my language lessons because there were just so many rules. We had to write every single word in a textbook and study grammar for hours. It didn't feel like fun to me at all in high school, especially considering the fact that I'm a natural introvert and lazy as hell. So even back then, I had to come up with my own systems to make it more fun and so that I can stay consistent, make progress in languages myself. Also, the method I'm about to share with you actually allows me to do this from the comfort of my home. After using this method, I'm now able to speak 6 different languages. So Vietnamese is my native tongue, then German, because I grew up in Germany, English is my 3rd language, Spanish, because I learned it in school and also because I practice a lot myself. These 4 languages I speak fluently, Korean and French on a basic level. You can check out how I speak all of these languages in this video up here. So without further ado, let's dive right into this. We have all learned at least one language in our lives, our native language. And the way how we accumulated fluency in our native language is by mainly 2 things: immersion and practicing speaking on a daily basis. So it makes sense that we apply all these principles that we use to acquire our first language to all the other languages that we're about to learn. So number 1 is immersion. Nowadays, with the power of the internet, this is actually really easy to implement and fun as well. Immersion is a method that was actually firstly introduced by Stephen Krashen. Let me actually show you guys a quick clip.
Acquire language in one way and only one way: when we understand messages. We call this comprehensible input. We acquire language when we understand what people tell us.
Basically, he says that when we practice immersion, we need to pick a level that is slightly harder than our current level. Because if the content we're watching is too easy, we get way too bored. But if the content, on the other hand, is way too hard, we will feel overwhelmed and give up as well. A good golden rule of thumb is that it should be around 10% harder than your current level. Because that way, we can understand 90%. That gives us motivation. We're confident in our skill. Now, you might be wondering, what kind of content should you pick to study languages? Truthfully, you should just pick content that you personally enjoy on a daily basis. That way, it's way easier to incorporate language learning into your daily routines. Now, I'm personally a visual and auditive guy, so I mostly watch Netflix and YouTube. However, just watching the content with subtitles is sometimes really annoying because there are going to be words that you don't understand, and in that case you have to pause the video, you have to go to Google Translate or whatever translator you use and translate the word and then keep watching the content. And that's exactly where a tool called FluentU comes in really handy, who are also kindly sponsoring today's video. This tool is a complete game changer when it comes to language learning in 2025. FluentU basically allows you to take your favorite Netflix show or YouTube video, look up words immediately, listen to the pronunciation, gives you tips to memorize words, example phrases, and much more. You can basically import any video that has subtitles from YouTube or Netflix. They have an extensive content library and also integrated language courses, teaching you the language in a fun way. Basically, you can learn new vocabulary, practice your pronunciation, and form sentences by copying your favorite actors from movies. You can now watch Netflix or YouTube without feeling guilty at all, because you just turned an unproductive movie watching session into a productive language learning session. Definitely check out FluentU, and if you use the discount code in my description box below, you'll get a huge discount for FluentU. The second thing we need to focus on if we want to acquire fluency in any language is practicing speaking as much as possible, because for a lot of people, speaking is actually the goal. Communicate to other native speakers. And obviously the best thing when it comes to speaking would be to talk to a native speaker. The problem is that most of us don't always have access to a native speaker. We can't just fly to another foreign country all the time. Even if you could, some of us are just very introverted and don't like to talk to a lot of people on a daily basis. If you're like me, you also prefer practicing languages from the comfort of your own home. So I'll give you 3 exercises that I do on a daily basis to improve my Korean language learning. Number 1 is what we call shadowing. Shadowing is basically when you take a piece of content, for example, using FluentU, your favorite Netflix or YouTube show, and listen to one sentence. Afterwards, you pause the video and you repeat exactly what the actor, what the person, and what the character said. Why it's so powerful is that you can practice pronunciation and immediately listen back to how the other person says it. Although I lived in Germany my entire life, I practiced this heavily to get rid of my German accent. And you might still hear a little bit of a German accent, but now after talking to a lot of native speakers, they actually think I'm American. And that's mainly because I use shadowing a lot. The second exercise, one of my favorites, is talking to a blind friend. So basically, you imagine that you have a blind friend in your room. And obviously, because your friend is blind, they can't see anything, right? So it's your task to explain to them what is going on in their environment so that you can help out your blind friend. So what I would do is I pick different objects around me and just describe them to my blind friend. For example, hey, This is a pencil. This is some chewing gum. You can even take this to the next level by talking about your feelings or however you would communicate to your friend as well. This exercise is slightly harder than the first exercise, shadowing, because now you have to come up with your own vocabulary instead of just copying what the actor said. And you're also able to find different ways to express one idea. The third tip I would give you is to summarize the content you just watched. After watching a scene from a Netflix movie, I would pause the video and I would try to summarize this scene to my potential blind friend. And this really helps you to form your own sentences as well, and it kind of connects it to a fun experience watching your favorite shows on YouTube or Netflix. All of these things are things you can do right now from the comfort of your own room. So please take action, try to implement at least one of these things into your own language learning routine, and tell me in the comments how it goes. Good luck, and I see you in my next video.